Hello and welcome everyone to the Friday, September 12th edition of the Contributor Comms team meeting. As a reminder, this operates under a code of conduct, which essentially says to be respectful of your fellow speakers and attendees and generally be excellent to each other. First item of business, we usually like to offer an opportunity here at the beginning of the call for anyone on the call to introduce themselves. Totally optional. I will go first because I use it as an opportunity to describe what the meeting is. Hello, everyone. I'm Caslin Fields, and I'm one of the co-leads of the Contributor Comms subproject, which is a subproject of the Special Interest Group for Contributor Experience. The purpose of this group is to make sure that folks within the contributor community in open source Kubernetes know about the awesome things that are going on that might affect them or not so awesome things that might affect them that they should know about. And also that folks outside of the contributor community know about the truly awesome things that contributors are doing. So we do that through a variety of means, including running social media channels, writing blog posts, theoretically running the cates.dev contributor website, and all sorts of other things, which we will talk through today. Would anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional. Chris, do you want to go? Oh,
Yeah,
she, her.
sorry.
My pronouns are she, her.
Yeah. My bad. I was looking at YouTube. I'm Chris Short. I've been around the project for a long time. I'm also the other co-lead of the comm sub-project, and or I guess I'm one of other leads, but whatever. Been around the project a long time. Know where stuff is. Feel free to poke me with questions any point. And pronouns are he, him.
I don't know if you all can see how adorable my cat is being right now, but it's very cute. Anyone else like to introduce themselves? Totally optional. Alrighty. If nobody else wants to, you're welcome to add yourself as an attendee in the notes doc, which I shared once in the meeting chat, but some folks might have not have been in. So let me see if I can do that again with the cat. There we go. Cool. So I just shared the meeting notes doc again. Please do add yourself in. Next item of business. Note taker. So here at the beginning of the call, we always like to ask for a volunteer to take notes during the meeting. The role of the note taker is to follow along happening in the call and take notes in the notes doc as best you can, so that if anyone missed the meeting and they want to catch up on what we talked about, they can check it out there. We often use the notes to remember what we talked about in the SIG. Yes, I know, Alita, you don't like me talking. In the SIG ContribEx meeting, where we give updates to the rest of the SIG on what we're working on. So very valuable role to take on, and anyone can do it if you feel that you can follow along with discussion and take some notes. And other folks usually hop in to help you and make sure that things are good, but it's good to have someone focused on it. Anyone willing to be our note taker today? Any volunteers?
Notes by committee.
It's a good opportunity to get some visibility in the community, do something valuable. All right. If no one wants to be our note taker and hold that esteemed position, we should make like a note taker award.
No.
Then
Yeah. That would
we'll
be
do notes by
really
committee
helpful.
today.
I would
And
like
final.
to, but I'm unfortunately not on a laptop right now. I'm on an iPad, so
Oh,
it's just
Lord.
Understandable. I appreciate the thought, though. Yeah, that's why we shouldn't do an award for it, because
Yeah,
it's not like we want to punish people for not being able to do it.
exactly.
Final Final housekeeping item. As you can tell, hopefully, from what you've seen so far, this is a very casual call. So if you missed the chance to introduce yourself at the beginning and you want to later on, please feel free. If we're talking about something and we're going deep on it and you have no idea what we're talking about, please ask. We're more than happy to explain what's going on as best we can. She's had enough of my talking. She's leaving.
Am I
Right.
audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so like this is my second time joining the meeting. Last time I think you were not there. So
Oh,
yeah,
yes. I was not here
yeah,
last week. So I'm going to
yeah.
have to ask for
So
a
like
recap of that.
It was
yeah,
fast.
It was very
so
short. We
yeah,
just
it was
left for
very
the
short
Sorry,
release
buddy.
meeting.
retro immediately after the meet was
Oh,
done.
Yeah,
but were you
so
going
I am
to?
from like India and I have been LFX mentee of 2025 like spring term, and I have been contributing to Kubernetes documentation from last 2 months. So yeah, I'm just joining up this meeting to get more like
Welcome. So
yeah,
glad to
thank
hear
you.
that you're doing the LFX mentorship.
Yeah,
How's Docs going? Did they send you over to us? How did you find us from Docs?
yeah, this one meeting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I just like search about the all the meetings of communities meetings. So this is the one of them for contributor.
Yeah. This is the one of them for contributors. I agree with that
Yeah, yeah.
statement. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, and we're very happy to have you. We do a lot of work that coincides with Docs, so it's good for us to have overlap wherever we can too. Cool. And so that's all of my housekeeping items. So with that, I think that we messages of the week where we bumble around in our heads and try to figure out what's going on in the community right now.
I did have a question about
Yeah.
messages of the week. We have a messages of the week spreadsheet,
Yes. Were you not here
but
when I made that? Oh no,
I
you
might
weren't
not have
because it was the
been.
working session.
Right. So,
I
like,
think.
how do we indicate something is done or like
Ah,
this is new? Like, there's no dates. That's why well, there's dates in the content, obviously, but not dates for the postings.
there's a scheduled column, but I think we didn't actually use it for any of these. Whoops.
Yeah, and I think some of the posts which we did for the messages of the week weren't really dependent on time and they needed further approval before
True.
it could
Right.
be posted because the elections, I think we needed a go ahead from the people, I think elections committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we needed
Yeah,
a go ahead from them before we could post that.
that sounds reasonable. I think we did post several of the elections announcements.
They got
Yeah,
But I
shared.
yeah, we
think,
did, we did.
yeah, I think these are all done, all these elections ones. And did we do this maintainers summit ones? I don't imagine why we wouldn't have done them.
I can look real quick.
Yeah, if you could check in on if we actually posted all these.
I don't think so. I don't see. Let me scroll back a few
Oh.
days,
Oops.
weeks. Hang on, it's not like it's one of those pages that never ends kind of thing. So let me just load a
Making the
bunch of
sheet
it
was
and search.
progress.
No, it doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Whoops. Oh,
Well,
although, wait, isn't this for LWKD and not just social, or is it both?
both. I mean, the sheet is
Okay,
for social
got it. All right.
mainly. And the messages of the week is also for last week in Kubernetes development, the newsletter, so that we know things that we need to put into the newsletter.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe we do a little mini working session here at the beginning and clean up this sheet.
We can do that.
My social media manager friend has not appeared, so I may have to give that slide deck myself, which I could do later today or next week. We'll figure that out. But first, let's fix up this sheet.
So,
So.
on the topic of work sessions, I actually would like to have one about Zapier very soon, since Avni
Ooh,
and Swati have their org memberships. They're
wonderful.
officially Kubernetes, or whatever we call
Yay.
ourselves.
Yay. Nice. I love that.
Mhm.
So I imagine that would be just kind of a walkthrough of the Zapier
Yeah, what's
platform and like
there,
how you manage it.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, it could be 15 minutes. It could be a long time if we go through every single Zap kind of thing. It just depends what questions people have.
Let me check the notes doc. You added the thing about the YouTube channel, which we were talking about before we started recording. We
Yeah,
could do a
sorry.
review of that real quick, and then we can dive into some of these things.
Yes, let's. So the YouTube channel had playlists pinned on the homepage that hadn't been updated in years. I just noticed that last week, I think, when I was looking at something else. And yeah, I'm just gonna remove those. That's been done. And then add the SIG playlists in alphabetical order. The problem with that is they don't you don't know when the last time the SIG video uploaded just by managing the page. So I might have to clean up what I pin after I pin it, kind of thing, if they haven't updated in forever. So yeah, I'm doing that real quick.
I just looked up Kubernetes on YouTube, trying to find the link to put in the notes, and I noticed that
So there's
the
actually
video that I
many.
helped with is one of the top ones, and that makes me happy.
Oh, lovely. There's many ways to get to the YouTube channel. Many, many years ago now, when I first became a YouTube admin, I actually plugged in a bunch of subdomains that will redirect you to the YouTube page. So if you type in yt.cates.io, it'll take you straight to YouTube. You don't have to remember the name, the syntax, nothing. Also, YouTube
What?
works. Yeah.
It
I should
worked.
go. Yeah. It's
Magic.
been working for years. Hmm. Yeah. I think YouTube also works. I did a bunch of them. That's why I don't remember them all.
But I mean, that one's short and easy. Love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
All right. So,
YouTube.case.io also works. So just note it.
huh.
Yeah, I can do that.
Wow. So there's a link in the notes now if you want to see which YouTube channel we're talking about. It is the official YouTube channel of the Kubernetes project.
There we go.
Cool.
Happy, joy. Oh, dadgummit. Not that. I'm having a lot
So
of
thank you for
hand
cleaning that up.
spasms. Yeah, no problem. There we go. Fixed.
Shall we start with the messages of the week and cleaning that up?
Yeah, let's, please.
So I've got Buffer here. I'm pretty sure that we sent all of these Kubernetes steering committee election posts. Did you confirm that? Shall I confirm that? If you have not
Yeah,
gone,
I can confirm that
Yeah.
because I remember asking Caslin about the timelines and which dates would be important. So
yeah, and I'm pretty sure that I approved them on Buffer, or someone did.
Yeah. No, I've been approving posts like left and right.
I know you've been amazing. Thank you.
Well, I'm looking at my email, which I then get a notification about. So thank you, Zapier, for that. I added you to those emails as well, and Mario.
Thank you. I need to clean up my email.
Oh my God, mine's a dumpster fire. I know.
All right. So the next thing I'm checking in on is registration for the maintainer summit. Looks like that's open. This page doesn't tell me when it closes. If there is it used to always be pretty close to it. So that should still be a valid message, is what I was trying to confirm there. So if we haven't posted it, then we should go ahead and do so. I'm gonna search for that in our sent history. There should be a better way to do that. Yeah, it's not. Could have been a while ago. We post a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that we haven't, and even if we had, it's probably worth doing a reminder. So let's just send out the exact same things again.
Bingo.
So anyone who's not familiar with this platform, if you're interested in helping us out with social media, DM me on Slack real quick, your email, and I will get you added to Buffer. That's the tool that I'm hanging out in here right now. So this is how we manage social media across our 6 accounts. 6? Yeah, 6 across 4 platforms. And the way you use it is you hit the new button up here. There's like a couple of different ways that you can do posts, but new button up here is how I do it, and hit post. And then you can select all of the channels that you want to use. You can't use both of the X ones at the same time, which is good because they're very different audiences anyway.
Yes.
So for this Maintainer Summit one, we're going to want to send that to all of our contributor-focused ones, which usually say K8's contributors. LinkedIn is kind of an exception where we do basically everything on that one. We consider it both contributors and the general public. So those are all of our Kate's contributors ones, and then Kubernetes IO and Kubernetes on Blue Sky are public and user facing mainly. So they don't need to know about the Maintainer Summit because that's just for Kubernetes contributors. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the message. Kate's contributors, Blue Sky, Mastodon, all the same. And then we have some messages about the CFP for KubeCon EU for our end user facing accounts, which I think we could also go on ahead and do. So I'm just going to paste that message in here. Add tags. You know, this is something that we never do anymore. We use it through the
Tagging.
zaps though. Yeah. I
Yeah,
noticed that the
so
CVEs are tagged, which is nice.
yeah, I can put tags in
I guess I
zaps.
could.
We can manually add tag groupings here if you want. There's a lot of ways to do it.
This does technically count under events, so I'll go ahead and add
Uh,
that tag to it. We are not super consistent about that, and it's too
Well,
long. Just because
yeah, the
it.
link is broke. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if I can fix
So
that.
that tagging drop down is buffer specific, right? So like we can use that in zaps, but it's not going to auto select something if that makes sense.
Auto select a tag.
Well, just like
That works.
that drop down is literally just like a categorization in buffer, not necessarily like a hashtag kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with the actual posts that get posted on the social media platforms.
Correct.
It's just a tool that we use to better track things within.
Yes. So
Buffer.
I'm okay with dumping it. I'm okay with using it. It's, is what it is.
All right, fixed all of those links, and I don't think there's a specific time we want these to go out, so I'm just going to hit schedule posts, which should just throw them into the queue. LGTM, I think we checked them in the spreadsheet already, so I think good to go. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to read through it real quick.
I did.
Cool.
Go for it.
Posts scheduled. Boom.
They will go out today. Woohoo!
I feel like I should move the scheduled column over. Like make that the next column here. And for Maintainer Summit ones, those are done. There's also a couple here that we still haven't done, which I think are still valid. News about new working groups. Description is clearly too vague for folks to pick up easily. We should put together some more information about the new working groups. But first, the CFP being open for KubeCon EU, I think I can just go ahead and send these to. Welcome. We're doing a little bit of a working session cleaning up our old messages of the week that didn't get done. All right, this one was for LinkedIn and Kubernetes IO. Wait, we had different messages for each of those, very reasonably. So I'll do Kubernetes IO and then do LinkedIn. Cool.
I just found.
I'm going to do an exclamation point. What'd you find?
I found a YouTube MCP server somehow in all of my
Of
searching.
course.
Yeah, because that makes total sense, right? A natural
Is it an
language
officially
interface
run
for you.
one, or?
No, it's not. That's the problem. I was hoping
about that.
Claude could just scrape the playlists and tell me which one has been updated most recently, kind of thing, and then just go from there. But no.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I have use cases. All right, I'm going to post in this LinkedIn one from when we did our working session a while ago. I'm going to make that one an exclamation point too, because I have energy like that. And we're going to schedule that. So if you were putting these into Buffer, which you can, then you would be submitting it for approval, and Chris or I would have to review it to make sure that it's good before it gets sent out, so that you can't mess anything up on Buffer. We will make sure that you're doing a good job on those whenever you want to engage with it. Cool. So all of those have now been scheduled, which is pretty awesome. We were wondering last time if maybe we should do a post about the release. Frederico, you might have opinions about that. Maintainer Summit schedule. We should be able to write a quick post about that. And oh, this one's done. So this one is no longer relevant. I'm just going to delete that row since we didn't do anything with it. Should I cross it out? Frederico.
Hello. I might have something to add eventually, but it's more around the shadowing request, right? With the new release, we open up the shadowing questionnaire again. Likely already sent, I'm not sure, but it might be useful to broadcast, even because it's actually quite relevant in terms of community itself and contributors. So
Absolutely.
I'll take a look and I'll submit the suggestion to Buffer, and you can then review it, edit it, etc.
Excellent.
Good to me.
You could also put it in this sheet if you want. You can put it directly in Buffer, whatever you want to do.
Or the sheet.
Don't know what that was.
I'm assuming somebody wasn't on mute. That's fine.
All good. The schedule, though, let's see if we can get this one done real quick. If anybody wants to write this up for us, it would be appreciated. What you need to do is go here to the Maintainer Summit. Oh, schedule right there. View the full Maintainer Summit schedule. And so this is what we want to write a little post about, saying, hey, this exists and is up. Take a look at it and make sure that you register for the Maintainer Summit and send it out to contributor channels. So if anyone wants to take that on, would appreciate it. Cool. So that's a review of what we've got going on here. I could continue working on actually writing these, but we have a couple of other items on our agenda that we might want to do instead. I think it's pretty boring to sit around and watch me write social media posts, kind of like watching paint dry. So, Chris, do you want to do an overview of Zapier, or should I bring up the social media slides and run through those myself?
to the social media slides. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out what needs to go on the homepage of YouTube. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to put the new contributor orientations on here and then just come back later.
There you go. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is recurring that we have. So, yeah.
Redesigning the YouTube homepage. Like, I don't have any context for this.
Yeah, sorry. The YouTube homepage had 2 playlists featured on it that hadn't been updated in years, like 3 years at least. So I went ahead and removed those, and I'm adding. Sorry, I'm adding playlists back to the page that are actually active first. So new
Also, like,
contributor orientation.
I did not open the Slack in a while, so I just saw the YouTube admin group, and it is like there are too many conversations.
Yes.
So like I got a little bit overwhelmed with all these, but I just got a glimpse like something we have did something with JPR automation about the playlist.
So yeah, great question. Chad went in and there have been modifications, updates, whatever you want to call it, to Zapier that allow us to actually move a video into a playlist with Zapier. That's it. So he's figured out a new way, wrote it as a doc higher up here. Let me just pin this, or well, I'll send you the link here.
Okay.
And that's the new way of doing things. I'm going to pin this to the DM channel real quick. I think I can do that. Yes.
So like anyone of the YouTube admins can do it, or like anyone can do it.
Anyone with access to Zapier, which is very few people. But with it being this way, you know, we're basically sending things to Google Drive as an archive now. And I'm trying to get everything moved over. So obviously we need to get the documentation into GitHub, the contributor site, and then start moving workflows over to the new paradigm or new method, if that makes sense,
Okay.
which is all in the doc there.
So like I have a request. Whenever you create a new playlist for a new working group or anything, like I want to see the entire process, how does this process actually works, so that if
from like new working group all the way through to
it,
videos are
also
published.
as a YouTube admin, I should also know if you let's say if any one of you are not there, so I can also help someone to get onboarded.
Yeah, as far as onboarding new admins, there's a process for that. I just went through it to add myself as a Zoom admin, which, Mario's not here. Well, maybe Caslin, you can. I'm a Zoom admin now, according to all the PRs and issues. So how do I get in? You're muted. Sorry.
I was saying I can probably fix that. I seem to have low
Okay.
network bandwidth though, so hopefully I'm not a robot.
You're not, but your video is definitely grainy. So
Okay, I might turn off my video for a bit.
might be
We'll
a good
see.
idea.
We'll see. Maybe I should have closed some things. Cool. I'm gonna close a very large window. It may cause me to pause for a moment. Review the notes and maybe add things to the social media spreadsheet for a second. Nothing fell apart. Very good. This is good.
Mhm.
Good progress. Alrighty. Let me swap which screen I'm sharing, and we will go over the slides. All right. So through my work at Google, helping with KubeCons and all sorts of Kubernetes related things, I've gotten the opportunity to work with one of our social media managers a couple of times, and she actually recently moved on to a new role, but I asked her to put together a slide deck of some tips for folks in our group who want to help us out with social media. So this is the slide deck. Since she doesn't seem to have made it here today, she was going to try to, but she's in the same time zone as me, so it's a little bit early for her. So I'm just going to take you all through what we have right now. I think there's a little bit more that we could add to it, but we can talk through all of that here. So the goal of putting together this slide deck was to equip you with the skills to effectively contribute to open source Kubernetes community's social media presence. There's an S that's needed in there somewhere. But anyway, so we're going to talk about social media. I think she took this from some kind of internal onboarding deck for social media. Or maybe she had AI generate the opening. I don't know. Social rules. So one thing I've been talking with her about is the rules that we have within our group. There's actually a comms page that has all of the social media guidelines. Chris, could you find that link for me
Yep,
and
looking for it.
throw it in the chat? On it, I'm sure you are. So a couple of them that I was telling her about that you all should know about is CTA stands for call to action, very common terminology in the industry. So whenever you're sending out a message to the public, to your external audiences, or whoever your audiences may be, you ideally want to have something for them to do, like they saw the message and thus they do something. And that's called a call to action. And with our call to action links, we do try to be careful about the amount of power that we have with all of our social media channels, especially the Kubernetes.io, Kubernetes.io, I guess, social media channel on X has over 300,000 followers. So if you, for example, post a link directly to a survey there, it's possible that you will get some folks who just put nonsense and inappropriate things into the survey. So we're doing a campaign right now for a survey on behalf of SIG Multicluster, and they specifically said we discussed this possible issue, and they specifically said they were fine with managing any of those kinds of responses that they get. So we shared the link directly, but often for a lot of the content we do, we'll share kind of an indirect link. Like we'll send you to the web page, which has the additional links on it, or the email to KDev that has the actual links on it, so that we're adding a layer of indirection so that anyone who really just wants to cause trouble would have to do more effort to cause that trouble.
Right. Like we've shared like emails out via social media just to get folks to engage with that email specifically, but not necessarily social media. Right. So, yeah.
Yep. And another rule that I told her about, and also my headphones are dying, so I might have to switch headphones at some point in the middle of this. But apparently I didn't plug them up. But posting about, she worded it here as posting about other company solutions, but that expands to a wide variety of things. If we're asked to help promote something, even if it's another project within the CNCF ecosystem, we have a lot of clout. Kubernetes is very well known. We have very large accounts. We have a very positive reputation as being a technology that people like and use and solves a problem for them. So anything outside of the Kubernetes ecosystem that we post about could be considered an endorsement of that thing. And if we endorse one thing, then someone else might be like, well, why won't you endorse my thing? And it's a slippery slope. So this is sandbox projects in the CNCF are a good example of this. Like if the sandbox project is
Gosh, that
really
was such a problem.
closely if it's really closely aligned with Kubernetes and like the Kubernetes community is doing something with that project, we could talk about that. But if it's just like we have a sandbox project and we're trying to get more people to know about it, we don't do that. That's for the
No.
CNCF to do. And they don't because there are too many sandbox projects for them to do that.
The make no kings kind of we're not kingmakers is the stance the CNCF takes, right? Like they don't want to put one person's sub project over another one because that would indicate some favoritism of some sort, or, you know, and it would be an all-out endorsement of the thing. And there might be other solutions from other projects in the CNCF landscape that would have appreciated that as well. So we typically don't do those things that are promotional, other than promotional in the sense it's like community operations and events and stuff like that, not, or surveys, for example, not, hey, check out this new thing kind of stuff, or, you know, somebody else's blog post about a thing, right? Like we try to keep things coming from the Kubernetes perspective, if that makes sense.
Yep. So that's a couple of rules for you to be aware of. And the guidelines doc that you posted in chat is not the one that I was thinking of.
Oh,
Didn't know
which
that
one were
one
you thinking
existed.
of? Oh, here we go. Is it in the GitHub repo? Sorry.
Yes, in the GitHub repo.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's in a folder
I
that's
should've
now
found
called
that.
like blogging guidelines or something. And within that, there's like general
Yeah, let me
comms,
find it.
social
I got you.
guidelines.
Blogging resources,
Blogging resources, and then
social
within there,
guidelines. Got it.
social
Okay, here we go.
guidelines.
My
Hey.
bad. Yay.
Hey, both of those are good to know about.
Right.
So check out the links in the chat for more information about our guidelines on social rules. And I'll clean up this slide before I share this slide deck with everyone in the notes. The opportunity. You have the unique opportunity to make the most of our rapidly growing social media presence. Your contributions will directly help us educate and foster a stronger sense of community among thousands of developers and users worldwide. True. So I hope you're excited to participate in social media.
Was that written in like a general sense or a Google sense, or that's
I'm
like
betting
perfect
that this was
prose?
I know. I'm betting that this was an onboarding slide deck
Okay.
for the social
Okay.
media team that she adjusted for us, which I think
That
is super
makes sense.
cool.
This
Imagine
is-
that you're a social
this
media
language is
manager
great.
for a company.
Yeah.
This is what it might be like.
Mhm.
And here is a list of the channels that we own. So we have 2 on Twitter and 2 on Blue Sky, because on each of those platforms we have one for contributors and one for everyone else. And then we have LinkedIn, which is basically anyone.
Catch-all. Yeah.
Catch-all. And we have Mastodon, which basically doesn't matter, and we should probably get rid of it.
Golly.
There's a few people
yeah.
who care, but do they actually care about this account being on there? I don't know that they do.
Don't know. I don't know. That's a very good
We
point.
do not have very many followers on Mastodon, and we do not get much engagement on any of those posts. There's a few members of the community who really, really like Mastodon, which is why we did it, but it's not like they're engaging with our posts there, so I'm not sure if they're seeing our stuff there. So I'm not sure that it's worth it for us to keep paying $120 a year for that.
Well, we're paying $120. Well, wait, no, we are paying $120 a year for that one channel. You're right. Never mind.
Cost per channel is $120
Okay.
a year. I had her put that on there.
Yeah.
We are currently paying $720 a year of the CNCF's money to run all of these social media channels. So please, if you're interested in helping with Buffer, let me know. We would love help getting value out of this investment. The CNCF is a nonprofit, and every bit of money counts. So it's important that we make use of these.
Yeah,
Our audiences. Yeah, please go ahead.
I was just going to add, related to Mastodon specifically. I think that, one of the reasons why it's that I would say that all things considered, I will still keep a presence there is more because of the alignment in terms of free software, open source community that Mastodon mostly represents for some of the community members, as opposed to X, Blue Sky, Threads, or whatever. I think that that's possibly one of the reasons why Mastodon was raised, even though, as you mentioned, and I'm on Mastodon and I do not necessarily engage with stuff from Kubernetes there. But I guess that others look at Mastodon more under this perspective. And I guess that it has a particular place in the minds of some developers that attach Mastodon more to that community-based social approach than they do with others. That being said, it's a numbers game ultimately. So, I mean, if we end up with a discussion between, for example, adding threads, which, as far as I know now, actually exceeds Blue Sky in terms of overall participation, not for our community, but in global numbers. I guess that the going for the one with less engagement would make perfect sense. So it's just a small comment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we
thank
haven't
you.
tried out
That's
Threads. Yeah, very
well,
thoughtful insights.
we did
there.
actually try Threads this week.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
So on Monday, Hong Kang, we got the word that Hong Kang passed away, which is sad. And if the last week in Kubernetes development people are listening to this call by chance, thank you for just picking that up without anybody having to say anything. Probably was Josh or Sriram or somebody else, but thank you. So yeah, we did a post about his passing, and then in the next piece of the thread, we linked to the CNCF memorial page because actually honoring somebody with 280 characters across social media is really freaking hard. It took me a half hour to get the content down into that right size, so there was no chance of me adding another link because it would have exceeded the threshold, not on Mastodon, but on other platforms. So we try to keep messaging consistent, not do a long form message if we don't have to. So yeah, that's what I chose for Blue Sky and Twitter. I think Mastodon and LinkedIn, I just did it all in one block. So yeah, we did try Threads and it did work.
interesting. We should
I'm not
look further
sure
into
if we can auto schedule threads because that would be cool. But yeah, like I'm curious.
We would need to make an account and set it up in Buffer and all of that.
Mhm.
Buffer should allow us to schedule it if it's, which it has
Yes.
support for threads. So
Yeah, and that's what I used, right? Like I used 100% Buffer to do this on Monday evening.
Would the
Yeah.
threads account
And
then be end user or contributor facing?
we'd have to find out
Like,
what audience is there.
Well,
all right.
for Mastodon, I would say that is probably a catch-all, just like LinkedIn is.
Yeah, but usually in the Google Sheets where we type out the social media posts, Mastodon is classified as contributor facing.
Yes,
I would agree
correct,
with
because that is the handle of the account is Kate's contributors. We do not have an official Kubernetes Mastodon account.
I also think I mean, we created it for the reasons that Federico was saying.
Bingo.
Is that a lot of our contributor community is there. So we created it targeting the contributor community.
And not end users specifically. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how many contributors are on threads versus how many end users are on threads. If there's very few contributors who are regularly on threads, then it probably doesn't make sense to have a contributor facing channel there and just have an end user one.
I mean, I know myself and many other people are kind of just like done with Meta, Facebook, Threads, all of that. So I don't even have an account on Threads or Instagram anymore.
Yeah, most of the people that I know is through Instagram more than Facebook actually. So they do leverage that quite a bit. I do agree that the typical audience, that's why I mentioned global numbers before. I think that most of the developers and during the split ended up choosing more X and then Blue Sky and not necessarily Threads, but just keeping it on the radar might be useful because as we discussed at the time, these trends can change very drastically.
Very
so
quickly.
In 6 months' time, we have absolutely no idea on what will be the platform of choice. As long as we can adjust and adapt and have a clear policy that allows us just to shift gears, I think we're fine.
And remember that each one of these channels that we add to Buffer costs us $120 a year. So we want to do some kind of exploration first to find out if the community is there and wants to receive our messages in that channel. We've intentionally not created an account on Instagram, not because of the lack of community there, but because creating content for Instagram takes a lot of effort.
Yes.
And with a volunteer team that goes in and out, it's hard to consistently create image content. It's just so much higher.
And even if we have contributors there, I would be surprised if they expect to engage with Kubernetes content there, right? Because it's mostly on other topics, and that applies to TikTok as well and other more image and video heavy stuff. So completely agree. I guess that we have to segment the market and understand where we can have the biggest bang for the buck.
That said, if anyone's super passionate about creating image content or about creating shorts on TikTok or something like that, we are always open to experiments. Just you have to pour your time and energy and effort into it. Cool. So we've talked a little bit here about our audiences. I think from this conversation, hopefully you've gotten a good sense about what we're thinking about with our audience. And this kind of describes what we mean with our terms. So for contributors, we mean anyone who actively contributes to the open source Kubernetes projects. Projects? But people in the Kubernetes community come from many backgrounds. We've got lots of students, we've got professionals, we've even had some like retirees. So people come from many different backgrounds and they come here because they want to be part of a community that's all working toward the same goal, because they want to up their skills for all sorts of different reasons. But if they're actively contributing to the project, that means that there are things that they need to know about, like steering committee elections. If you're an active contributor, then you may be eligible to vote in the election. By the way, everybody, if you want to check out your eligibility to vote in the election, there's information to do that around. Let us know if you need us to find it for you. And if you want to vote, but you are not currently eligible, let us know. We can help you with getting an exception to be able to vote in the election. Also, things like the Maintainer Summit, which is an opportunity for contributors to get together in person to discuss contribution work. So there are things that are relevant to contributors specifically that we want to make sure get to them. And that was the original reason that this group was created. Over time, there was a whole shenanigans with Kubernetes IO, which the CNCF had been running, and then we ended up picking it up. So now we have an increased charter around talking with end users and the general public. Or is that needs a line in it. So end users and the public, when we talk about that, we are talking about anyone who uses or is just interested in the open source Kubernetes project. So Kubernetes IO on X is, of course, our largest account for that. And we have a Kubernetes channel on Blue Sky that is also meant for that. And LinkedIn is kind of both of these things. Because on LinkedIn, people who know about the Kubernetes company on LinkedIn are often people who put that on their profile, who are often contributors. But also people look at LinkedIn for business news in general and may follow the Kubernetes company for that. So you get both audiences there. And there's no way for you to split them. Good social content. So here we actually get into the tips, and we only have 5 minutes left in our call, so we may want to talk about this more another time. But good social content is helpful, clear, relevant, and engaging. You want to this is like general stuff for Google largely, but solve real problems for contributors and developers. In our case, that's often solving the problem of them not knowing what's going on because this community is too big and you cannot keep track of what's going on. Clear, make sure that it's easy to read. A lot of our channels have very tight character limits, so you've got to be concise with getting your point across. Relevant, stay timely with content. We were just looking at our sheet, and there was one on there about submitting election candidacy, and that's no longer relevant because that timeline has passed. So make sure that it's still relevant. And engaging. We mentioned calls to action earlier. Ideally, most social media messages should have some kind of link or call to action thing that you can do because you saw that. So I'll share these later so that you all can look at these more deeply. Most importantly, we're looking for social content that feels authentic and interesting for our followers. I love that. I saw this slide and I was like, thank you, social media manager, professional. So if we give you access to our buffer and you have access to all of these accounts, the number one thing that you need to do is just think about who are you talking with through these? What do they need to know? And make sure that it's something that you genuinely think that they need to know and will be interested and interesting to them. As long as you're following that rule, you're probably doing good stuff. Creating channel-specific content. Think of Twitter as a billboard for quick, high-energy messages and LinkedIn as a professional conference for valuable, in-depth conversations. The character limits factor into what works better on different platforms, as well as the style of how people consume the content. So there's some general tips here on LinkedIn and Blue Sky. The tone for each one is often quite different. The audience that you're going for, not even just talking about our contributor versus end user audience, but beyond that, the audience, what do they expect from content that they see on that platform? Follower needs, why did they join that platform in the first place? These are really good things to think about when you're constructing a message for these platforms. And what cadence works well. So we do a lot of our posting automatically, thanks to Zapier. So cadence is kind of taken care of there, but actually, it's not easy for me to show. But on Buffer, we have an analytics page that actually gives us suggestions on how frequently we should post on each of our accounts, which is super cool. So take a look at these later. We've got 1 minute left, so I'm going to rush through them, and I'll give you all this slide deck later. Building a thriving community, not just a social presence. So in the world of being a professional social media manager, it's very important to engage with the audience that you have on those social media accounts. This is a difficult topic to broach with 1 minute left, but typically we have the rule on our social media accounts that we do not engage with our audience. People can reply to our posts and we do not respond to them because
yes, there's a very good reason.
Because, well, there's a bunch of reasons. One of them is because we're a volunteer force. So we don't always have the staff to keep an eye on what's going on there. But the much more important reason is that currently Buffer doesn't have the ability. My meat.
Not your other meeting.
Yeah. Gotta hop over there in a minute. So Buffer doesn't have the ability for you to see the replies. And it also doesn't have the ability for you to repost things.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't really do that through our primary tool. You would have to have direct access to the account, and we're not going to give you that probably unless you're really diving into social media and showing that you want to be a lead of those things by taking on a bunch of responsibility and kind of figuring things out on your own. We're not going to give you direct access to those accounts. It's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I would not recommend
Ask
you
me how I
volunteer for
know.
that. Yes, don't just volunteer yourself for that without thinking about the ramifications of moderating the internet.
Yeah. But we noticed when we were building the slide deck that Buffer actually has a community page that it's working on. So we may soon get the ability to do this through Buffer. So this may be something that we want to come back to. So she gave us some tips on this.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'll share this slide deck with you later. Is there a bunch more? There's only a few more slides, so I guess I'll show them real quick. She put in a screenshot of Buffer, which I showed you all earlier. If you want access to it, like I said, just DM me on Slack with your email address and I will get you added in. And then Buffer details, how we use it, why we use it. I'll give you all this later. And she also added
Ooh.
some tips that they have for what you should do with images, GIFs, and videos that you're sharing on social media.
Nice.
Which I think is super cool. And that's it for this slide deck. So I'll work on that and get it to you all later. I'm
I can
still
add
sharing my
stuff too.
screen, right?
Just one thing I wanted to add.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
Actually, when you're writing posts for X, let's say you go above the word limit. Another very popular style of posting on X is to basically make a thread and then have multiple posts within the thread. So in a way, your first post will usually be the hook post, which kind of draws people in and will probably have a call to action. For instance, let's just say we are talking about the elections. So you'll first put up like a call to action about the elections. Like it'll help determine the future of the Kubernetes project and various decisions. So you try to get people to click on it, and then you can have multiple posts discussing discussing the elections in detail under that. So that's one of the ways that you can bypass X's 150 character limit.
Yes.
Yes. And that when we first started using Buffer, you couldn't create threads on it.
No, there was no
But
threading
you
whatsoever.
can now.
You can. You just need to press Shift and Enter, and it creates multiple posts. So you can create a whole thread.
However, you can't create threads on LinkedIn. So if you're posting to both
but
X
you do have a
and
5,000
LinkedIn.
character limit on LinkedIn.
Yes, but
Yeah.
LinkedIn doesn't. Yeah, it's what Chris said. You can write long posts on LinkedIn. You can
But my
ramble
point
on
is that if you select both of those platforms at the same time in Buffer, you cannot make a thread.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the problem.
You have to
Yeah.
make it specifically for the platform where you're making the thread.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's there. But at least until now, whenever I've worked with Buffer, I make sure that I type out a separate post for LinkedIn, which is more descriptive and much longer compared to X or Blue Sky or even Mastodon.
Okay.
So I've never encountered having to click both X and LinkedIn and posting to both at the same time.
Good point. That also is a scenario. I know on Monday I went through the where threading was available. So X, Blue Sky, Mastodon. I did threads. I think for Mastodon and LinkedIn, I just did those separately as one post. So that's why threading worked for me, is because I didn't include two different sites with two different threading policies kind of thing anytime I posted.
Yeah, even if you pick two different sites that both have threading, it won't give you that option here on Buffer. You have to do it per channel.
Yeah, it's
just
not
a note on that. But thank you. That was a
Yes.
really good point to bring up.
Absolutely.
And we're at about 5 minutes after. I'm okay with being 5 minutes late to my next meeting, but I should really get there. So
Yes, you should. Let's wrap
I
this
need to
up.
drop as well. Take care. Have a good weekend. Cheers.
Thank you
See
all
ya.
for joining
Everyone,
today.
have a good weekend.
You know where to
Just 2
find us
minutes
on Slack.
Good day
before
ahead.
we end.
Yay!
Thank you.
See ya.
I just wanted to share something.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
like 2 minutes. I discussed